sewing friends. I am very late to the game, I know, to be sharing my 2026 Make 9 with you all, but I just feel like I can't just come out with my whole year goals right on January 1st. Like, the end of the year and the holidays crammed into like that last week of December, like I need some space from all of that. And so yeah, sorry, not sorry that it's so late. I considered like not even making a video about this. In fact, I considered not even doing a Make 9 this year. But again, having given myself a bit more space, a bit more time to reflect, I did decide that I want to do another Make 9 this year. For me, the value of picking 9 projects to do throughout the year, the value is definitely not on completing those projects. It is really about doing some reflection, looking at last year, looking at what has like served me both in the practicalities of like final garments in my wardrobe, as well as like where was my making practice, where is my creativity last year, and where do I want to go forward with both of those things. What I found last year is that I only made 6 out of the 9 from my list, but almost in every one of those categories, they really enriched my wardrobe. All except for one, I had a really great time making and learning new skills, but ultimately, like the greatest value I've seen for my Make 9 is that it kind of becomes like a touchstone, a centerpiece that I can come back to throughout the year when I inevitably get overwhelmed with analysis paralysis and all of the gorgeous fabrics in my stash, gorgeous fabrics out in the shops, all of the new patterns coming out. I always want to make like everything all at once, but I am a person, I am a human that can only do one thing at a time. So battling that indecision, it's really nice for me to have like kind of a touchstone, something I can come back to kind of remind me of where I'm wanting to go for the year. So that for me is what Make 9 does for me. Now, over the years, I have participated in, I guess you could say, like the original constraints of the sewing challenge, which are to pick 9 specific patterns to work on through the year. I've done it that way. I've done it where I've swapped in 9 fabrics that I wanted to use and prioritize throughout the year. I did a combination of the two one time where it was like, yeah, specific fabric and pattern matched together. That was way too constricting for me. And what's worked really well the last couple of years was to do categories of garments. So rather than a specific pattern or a fabric type, it was like, make a blouse, make a pair of trousers. Trousers I have never done so far, but that kind of thing has really served me well. And so when I have been overwhelmed with options, I could be like, oh, well, wait, one of the things I am looking at right now is a vest, and that happens to be on my Make 9. So that becomes like a deciding factor for me when I would otherwise just like kind of waffle around. So that's why I'm doing Make 9. It is not with necessarily the goal of completing those specific 9 projects. And once again, I found myself kind of waffling with the structure of it. And so I've decided to, once again, kind of make that my own, shuffle it around a little bit. And so rather than either very specific or very free-flowing, I'm going to do both because it's my Make 9. These are my goals and I can do what I want. So I've kind of gathered up like 3 tiers of varying levels of like specifics to general ideas that I need to play with a little bit. And then 3rd tier is like just vibes. And how I will interpret those vibes, you know, months from now, I'm very curious to see what future me will deal with what I've listed there. So I imagine this is going to be kind of a long video. As you can already tell, I'm like very pumped, very ready. So if you haven't already, grab yourself a cup of tea, grab a little snack, get settled into a project, and we'll dive into it. So we're starting off with tier 1 being our straightforward, specific ideas. Now, of course, I'm leaving myself the caveat that specific patterns and fabrics can change. I mean, this is for a whole year, so that's what I'm thinking. But these are ideas that I've had in my mind for quite a while, and it's really just a matter of like executing them. So first up, you will have seen this in my fall plan, so I won't spend too much time on it. I want to make a blouse. That's going to be like the general header. Specifically, I want to make the Meadow blouse from Seamwork. That is what is on my kind of immediate plans to do in this sheer black kitty fabric. Yeah, there's like different breeds of cats on this, and I think it is so fun. I'm very much into collars right now, as you can see with my Helmi blouse that this is my most recent make, I think, or my most recent finished project, the end of 2025, and I absolutely love it. So this is meant to be a Meadow blouse, but if I don't get to that like relatively soon, you know, the winds could change and I could end up like with another Helmi blouse. So blouse is the first category. Most likely it's going to be a sheer black cat Meadow blouse. So my next particular item, I don't actually have a fabric for yet because I don't just want to make a button-down shirt. I specifically want to make a chambray button-down shirt a la Chessie from The Parent Trap, because really I just want to like copy and paste her entire look. It's so good. She's iconic, and it really is just like an item that I need in my wardrobe. Thinking through like the cooler months, I'm wearing a ton of wool sweaters where I need like a collar, either like a turtleneck or a collar like this one to like protect my neck. And I think a little chambray shirt would be super cute under, but then like in the warmer months to layer it on over like tank tops and t-shirts, etc., is something that I do every summer when I go visit my mom. The first thing that I do when I get to her house is like I go into her closet and I find her chambray shirt and then I wear it like the entire time I'm there. She won't give it to me, which is fair because it's a really good shirt. So clearly I need to make my own because I know that I will wear it. Yeah, it's absolutely like a gap in my wardrobe. So I know I need to go out and source some chambray, and I do know what pattern I want to use. I finally like settled in on that. I'm going to use a combination of the Cashmerette Vernon shirt and the Windvale shirt. So they are like sister patterns, and the main difference, there's some like detail differences with like the cuffs and the sleeve type, but the real big difference is the Windvale has a darted back. So rather than a pleat at the yoke, giving it like kind of more volume, it's a bit more fitted. And I made one last year. I made the dress version and it fits me so well. And I don't know why I've been waiting so long to make another one, because it is just like the fit on me is so perfect. And yeah, I really just need this in my wardrobe as soon as possible. The last of my like specific ready to go ideas actually has like three possibilities where I've got the pattern and the fabric picked out, printed, ready to go. And the category is for a tank dress. So I wear tank dresses, well, definitely like in the summer, but I also tend to wear like several of them from my collection in the winter as well, like layered up over things, kind of as like a pseudo pinafore look. So the first tank dress, again, I talked about in the same fall plans video, and that is to make a chalk and notch Shay dress with this incredible, absolutely gorgeous Liberty cotton lawn that I like pined after for years, and I finally got it this summer. And I just need to like carve out the time to make myself a Shay dress in this. I think it'll be so, so cute, layered up over like a little sheer turtleneck in the winter, but I can also like put a cardigan on it over like in the spring. Yeah, so that is like tank dress number one. These two, I really love my Helen's Closet Reynolds dress. I wear my yellow linen one like at least once a week in like from like May to October. I absolutely live in that. And I think both of these fabrics would be perfect. I really love the like higher square neck and the really blocky straps there. It's got a really nice curve in the back and good pockets. So these are also fabrics I got this summer. This one is a Japanese cotton dobby with these like watercolor cats on them in this amazing like chartreusey pear green. And then this is a dead stock French linen with just like the most gorgeous colors. And I think this would be, yeah, both of these would make really, really cool Reynolds dresses. They're like a straight shift shape is going to be, I think, really great for kind of toning down like the boldness of these colors. And then for this one, like it won't interrupt these like sleeping kitties. So no seam lines. I think both of these would make really good Reynolds dresses. The next three projects are my like general idea category. So these ones I have put on my Make 9 because I think if I don't, I just will continue to not make them. And I really have a need for better sleepwear and kind of like loungewear right now. A lot of what I have is like worn through or has like shrunk up. I really need to do some replacing, but you know, with like all of these ideas for like pretty dresses and flouncy blouses, they do tend to get pushed back to the back burner. So I was like, this is a good spot to fill in some practical things. I have the general idea of what I want, but I don't have, I haven't worked out like the nitty gritty details. So this is the fabric I have in my stash. To be honest, I'm not like in love with it, but I have it and I should use what I have before buying something else. But I'm not committing is what I'm saying. If I come across a loungy knit fabric in the meantime, I very well may pivot. But for now, this is what is in my stash and I should probably just make use for it. So I want to do a little two-piece set of a little sweater and some joggers or even like shorts. So this is a sweatshirting. It has very little stretch to it. But I had kind of the idea of doing like, just like a regular pullover, probably the Jackson, because that's my like go-to for that. But maybe like playing around with the directions of the stripe. So maybe having like some horizontal and then maybe like splitting it in the half to go vertical. I think that could be really cool, but I also don't know if like maybe I just want something simple. And then either some joggers or shorts to match. That's this one. Not the most exciting. If you have a TNT like loungewear pattern, let me know because I'm kind of just up in the air with this one. And then sort of adjacently to that, I included it as a separate project, but as a pajama top. So for me, tops are very different between like sleepwear and loungewear because I really need to be like fully covered when I sleep. I know it sounds really ridiculous, but all of my like sleep shirts have kind of just like shrunk up. And so I really need like a long, kind of almost like a tunic, which I don't really like the look of. And it's probably not something I'd even wear as loungewear, but I do think I would like legitimately sleep better if I was fully, when I'm fully covered, I do sleep better. So a pajama top is on made it to this list. And I am happy to say this might be cheating, but I'm almost done with this one. So not so much a plan. Well, I guess I do plan to finish it. So this is actually like a little refashion, because I'm saying refashions count for make 9. This was a jersey dress. It was a midi length, what was it called? The Cashmerette Pembroke dress that I had in my like alterations pile forever to try to rework the kind of shoulder armpit area. But I was not getting around to that, and it's a really soft, cozy fabric. So I put it on the other day and just kind of marked where I wanted it to hit as kind of like a tunic. And I just cut it. I just cut it off. So I do still need to put a proper hem on there, and I want to top stitch down the neckband just to make that like a little bit more comfortable for sleeping, not have like a flippy outy seam there. So yeah, pajama top. It's done. I should probably have more than one that fits me and that functions really well in my sleepwear drawer. But for now, I am calling that one a win. So now we are stepping into kind of the nebulous zone, letting go of all details. It is just vibes here, kind of blurry implications of what the ideas might be, slowly getting a little more or less unhinged. But the first one, to start, I'd really like to kind of continue my tradition of the last couple of years of making a special occasions dress or outfit. Last year, my frocktails dress was really fun, and I really loved how that turned out. The year before, I made a very special outfit for a Taylor Swift concert, and I don't have anything like that on the calendar at this point yet. So I don't really know what the vibe's gonna be. I don't know fabric or pattern or anything. It's all just kind of a big question mark. So this next project comes with a little bit of background, a little family lore, if you will. So the last 2 years, we have allowed / charged our kiddo, she is now 8, with choosing the family group costume for Halloween. So 2 years ago, she decided that she and I were going to be black cats, and my partner was going to be a little gray mouse. A little gray mouse. He's 6'4". He's kind of the butt of the joke, but like you get it. That's the vibe. Last year, of course, there was K-pop Demon Hunters and like that whole big boom. So we collectively went as Huntrix, of course, with her as the star. So I was, curious what she would come up with, thinking that we would hear about this, in September, or maybe a little earlier than that. But no, still in 2025, it was actually December 30th. I came home from a little gathering with friends and received these 2 fun little guys. So my friend had picked up for me this one, the box is falling apart, that I had ordered for myself. I absolutely just fell in love with this little felt doll kit. These are from Kiriki Press. And like, what a sweet little guy. Like, he's so cute. These are the Costume Cat collection. So I had ordered this one for me, and she had picked it up for me. And then while she was picking it up for me, decided I also, fixing the box here, that I also needed the Wizard Cat companion as well. So I brought these home, I'm showing my kid, and she just like looks me in the face and is like, "This is Halloween." I was like, okay, I guess. And she's like, "You're the clown, I'm the wizard." So that's settled, I guess. And then there are a couple more options as well for my partner. She did say that he could choose. I didn't get to choose, but he gets to choose. Though honestly, she's not wrong. I am absolutely this one, and she is the wizard. I can't tell you why, but she's spot on. So for Make 9, all of that to say, my Make 9 project number 8 is to make a costume inspired by this. So this is not just a clown. This is a cat dressed as a clown. So therefore my costume is me dressing as a cat dressed as a harlequin clown. I don't know if I'm going to go like for an exact recreation. Not obviously not exact, because I'm not going to make it out of felt. And I'm not a doll. So yeah, how close I'm going to keep to the inspiration, I'm not sure yet. I'm also not sure if I want to like go full costume of something I'm only going to wear as a costume, or if I want to try to like make separate pieces that I could fit and function into my wardrobe. That's generally like my policy with Halloween costumes. And I am quite into the like circus core, clown core aesthetic, not as like jumping in full clown makeup on the day to day, but like little pieces. I like little pieces of circus core, clown core situation. So that's this one. But yeah, I know it's kind of a ramble, but I had to show you these really cute little guys. And I've got 9 months to not only sew these guys up, it's all hand sewing, mostly buttonhole stitch, which I've never done before. So gonna learn, and then to make up a little Halloween costume. I'm definitely gonna have to have some kind of like neck ruffle, like that is, I think, very core to the look, as well as some kind of little funky headpiece. And my last project is a bit hard to explain. The simplest version is I want to make a dramatic midi skirt. The long version, the real version, is that in 2025, I absolutely gutted one of my favorite pieces of clothing because I had decided that it was too dramatic for me. It was full drama. So this was a full circle skirt, midi length, red, super twirly, like vintage-esque, power skirt. And I made it several years ago. And at the time I was not wearing it, but I couldn't bring myself to get rid of it because it was so beautiful and I loved it so much, but I just thought it was too dramatic. I thought that it was too full on, and in my like tiny rural town, I just like did not have the confidence to wear that. Now, so I basically decided like I was keeping it, but I'm never going to wear it. This year I really went through like a big style change, and I feel like I really addressed like that confidence issue where I would not have that anymore. But at some point I decided that the skirt was the problem, not my confidence being the problem. Because really, like, my soul really identified with so much in that piece. And my solution at the time was not to address the confidence, but to call the skirt the problem and try to make the skirt more palatable. So I took out the fullness, I raised the hemline quite a lot, and I just hated it. And as soon as I cut it, I saw the problem that I'd really like taken away everything that I really, really liked about the skirt. So that was a big lesson. And it's something I still regret so much. So what I want to do in 2026 is try to emulate what I loved about that skirt into a new garment. So I don't know if I'm going to find a fabric that checks, at this point I don't have a fabric like that checks those specific boxes, all of them. And I don't know if I will find that in 2026 either. It's not something I'm going to like, scour every fabric shop for, but it is definitely going to be like at the top of my list whenever I happen to be in a shop, or I'm trying to cut back on fabric shopping online. So really but when I'm in person, it is something that I'm going to be looking for, of like, bold print, bright color, vintage vibe. It's like vintage and whimsical, but also kind of badass. Yeah, like I still think through, I'll like put something on and be like, oh man, that would look so good with the red skirt. Oh, I don't have the red skirt anymore. So I clearly need to do something about that. No promises that it will actually materialize this year, but yeah, that's kind of the standard that I want to be holding myself to and shooting for. Because like I said, it was a confidence problem, not a garment problem, and really kind of like a movie metaphor for like all the years that I spent trimming myself down because I was too dramatic, because I was too much, too loud, too emotional, you know, all the things. And very, very slowly learning to like take up space and to be myself and be present. It's a bit parallel. I don't know if I'm explaining that as well as I should. Somebody commented in my video where I talk about that, like, I think she said, like, the skirt is fine. It looks good. And I tried to explain, I ended up giving up, and I am sorry that I ghosted your comment. But like I couldn't at the time put into the words in the tiny comment box of like what the skirt meant to me. And I know I'm being very dramatic right now. But this is how deep I take things. So recreate the red skirt is goal number 9 for my Make 9 for 2026. So I hope you enjoyed that descent into madness with my sewing plans. I, again, like debated if I was going to share these or not because they just feel very silly and very impractical. You know, as far as like what most people like to see in a sewing plans video of like, this is the fabric and this is the pattern and this is what I will do. Like, I have that for some of them and I hope to do them soon. But some of the other ones just need some time and some space to marinate. I'm very curious. There was a phrase my teacher used in college a lot where she would say, do what you think I mean. And I feel like that's kind of what Make 9 is to me now. And I'm curious what, like, again, like September, October, November, future me is going to think that I meant now. And how that will all like change and be different. But again, I think this is still a very like useful tool of something to come back to as the year goes on. So I'm really curious also from you guys, if you did a Make 9, do you like this setup? Yeah, lots of folks just say like it's too rigid, but like curious if you've tried any kind of like personal shakeup, or if you're like, Brie, just doesn't feel like Make 9 anymore with all of these like weird rules and different categories of things. And that, you know, that's fair. That's fair. It works for me though, and I'm excited to see how it goes. I hope your year has gotten off to a good start, at least personally. I know globally we are things are, and I know for me, leaning into sewing and like creativity in general is helping me stay sane or something close to sane. And I really wish the same. I wish beyond that for all of you. Wish peace for 2026. Safety, like emotionally, physically. Yeah, and I hope that you have some great community to lean in on through this year, as well as creative pursuits. And with that, that wraps up this video, I think. So until next time, happy making, guys. Bye!